Well, I went through the 20 points because President Trump's press conference was quite long and rambling and difficult to follow. And the one point that really did stick out was where it says that no one will be forced to leave Gaza. But if they want, they can leave and then they'll be allowed to return. Now, we know that there had been suggestions by the far right in the Israeli government, this notion of pushing Palestinians out of Gaza. The Israelis have always said that wasn't their formal policy, but that was one of the great fears. Now, the other reason why this is so significant, and a point that is often lost when we talk about what's been going on in Gaza, is people there have been trapped inside Gaza for almost 20 years. I mean, the Gaza Strip has been under siege and under blockade since Hamas kicked out Fatah and took over control of Gaza in 2007. So if they're actually allowed to freely leave Gaza and then return, that would completely change the life for people inside Gaza, because students can't travel, people can't leave to go abroad to see friends or family, and that would be a major change.
And what do we know about this technocrat government for Gaza?
Well, the technocrat government, according to President Trump, would be headed by him, the so-called peace board. I mean, the hubris that we heard during that press conference was quite incredible. Now, the other key member of the group would be the former British Prime Minister, Tony Blair. Neither of them have a great record of success in the Middle East. A technocratic government for Gaza isn't a new concept. It's been discussed before. But what's unclear in the plan is how much buy-in Palestinians would have. Is this going to be a board of governors of foreigners, or is it going to be Palestinians? And what's going to happen to all of the civil servants? Because there are civil servants employed by Hamas and who have been paid by Hamas for the last decade or so. And then there are also the civil servants of the Palestinian Authority. Two governments had been inside Gaza. Both of them were paid. They know how to run the Gaza Strip. But reading this plan, it doesn't sound as though they're going to have a role in it. We don't know.
What about the proposed stabilization force? Who would be part of that? Do we know?
We don't know. That's another unknown. We have 20 points, but still a lot of questions. The idea had been from the US president in the past. He had suggested maybe the Gulf countries would provide some troops on the ground, maybe countries like Turkey or Pakistan. Now, all of those countries have given a joint statement. They have said that they support the plan. They're ready to cooperate. They've always been very reluctant to have any of their own troops on the ground in Gaza because they don't want to be seen as another occupying force. So will they put them up? We don't know. That's another part of the great unknown of this plan.
During the media conference overnight, we heard Benjamin Netanyahu apologising to Qatar. Do you think President Trump forced his hand on that?
Yes, I would say so. What do you think, Roz? I mean, it was a pretty begrudging apology. I listened to it. He didn't sound that keen on giving it. This is the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He said, "We didn't strike you, Qatar. We were going after the terrorists." This happened on the 9th of September, so he's had a few weeks. He could have done it earlier, so clearly President Trump said you need to pick up the phone and call the Emir of Qatar and smooth things over.
What's the chance of this deal actually being approved by Hamas and then the deal holding?
It's a really good question. It's hard to know. I would have thought it's going to be very difficult for Hamas to lay down its arms, to demilitarize. I mean, its whole reason for being is to be an armed resistance movement. And there is nothing in this plan that actually leads towards a two-state solution. This is a plan for ending the war in Gaza, but it's not a plan for setting up a Palestinian state. And Hamas has always said that it will continue its armed resistance. It is defined as a terrorist organisation by Australia until there is a Palestinian state. But on the other hand, we know that Hamas, they're on their knees. Their fighting isn't what it was. They've lost their top leadership. They've had an assassination attempt on their political leadership in Qatar. Anything could happen. They may decide to agree.
The US and Israeli leaders also spoke about normalization deals in the Middle East. Is that the bigger plan that's underway here?
I think it is. It was really interesting to hear both Netanyahu and Trump refer to that. And that is what the Israelis really want. Yes, they want an end to the war in Gaza at some point and quiet on the border. But the big picture and the big story is they want a deal in the Middle East. And the real prize in that, of course, is Saudi Arabia. And before October 7, Israel was very close to getting that normalization deal with Saudi. Then October 7 happened. The Saudis have said there will be no normalization. And this means a diplomatic, economic, security relationship with Israel until the war ends. There can be no annexation of the West Bank. That is one of their other agreements. And they want a path towards a two-state solution. Now, Trump referred to normalization a number of times during his speech. He's got his eye on the big prize as well. The ultimate deal for him would be to have Israel secure a relationship or a big deal with Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Middle East. Because we know what President Trump really wants. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize, and that would, in his mind, get him on the path to that.